If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's completely free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcasts with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, world, so here we are, our second take at our second episode because the first one was absolutely horrible. I was holding poor Jen hostage here. It was a snoozer and a half. I was just rambling on about garbage. Okay, so off the rail, got it right this time. We're coming into our second episode, and we are going to talk about, I think, some just embarrassing moments, right? Like, that's just what we're going to hit on today.
My whole life pretty much is embarrassing.
Yes. So this episode can probably go for like 80 million hours because my whole existence is just embarrassing. But that's okay. My mom doesn't think so. So that's what counts. All right. So I have a story that we share together. Well, we have a story that we share together. Here we go. It's going to be born again. No. So we have a story that we share together that we found out about this, like not even a week ago.
Yeah,
that
we're finding like odd similarities that we've both been through.
Yes, we're both obsessed with bumblebees, and we've both had our bras ripped off by a saddle horn. So we are just soulmates, okay? All right, so how did yours happen? I really don't know how to dive into this other than like how does number one, how does this happen ever? Number two, how does this happen to two people? Number three, how does this happen to two people sitting in the same room?
Yeah, well, obviously
I feel like it's a pretty simple explanation because mine is a simple explanation, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so we used to I was like a total tomboy, like I said, and I was maybe like 12 or 13, and like I was one of those girls, like I hit puberty early, so like I had boobs.
You were the first girl in class with boobs.
Yes,
okay.
And that was my life. That's fine, whatever.
So you've always been a star, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the boys liked me first. I was the first one to. Yeah. So anyway, I used to go to my friend Andrea's house. And she had Goldie, that buckskin that I've talked about now, and she had a couple other horses. And we used to just like ride around on them. We'd go through like the woods, like we would race on them. So long story short, she had this long driveway, maybe like a quarter mile long, right? And it was uphill. So we'd walk the horses down all the way to the bottom of the driveway. And then we'd turn around and we'd whip up the driveway as fast as we could and like try to beat each other.
Like no worries about a car or anything. No worry about like safety.
We're just whipping around. The horses knew. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're going." Like
we're just teaching them how to be home like barn sour. Like we're running right towards the barn. Yeah. Here we go.
You couldn't hold them back. Once they knew that we were gonna race, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And like Goldie like was super fast. Like she always won because she was in there and she was crazy. So I turn around and I'm running up. And, like, her family is, like, standing at the top of the driveway.
Oh, my God. So yours is even worse than mine. Okay, keep it moving.
And I was in, like, a nice, like, probably terrible 2-point. And those damn Western saddles just hooked right underneath and just
ripped it right off. Oh, my God. Now, did it break it?
Yes. Yes, it broke. Because I went to, like, she stopped and I, like, went back. And the whole thing just, like.
Bam. There Jen was.
Yeah. And I was, like. Just like in complete and utter shock, like, oh my God.
So what was your first instinct? Did you drop the reins and cover up, or did you just like let them fly?
Oh, I dropped the reins. Oh. She stopped. She stopped at the top of the driveway, and everyone's just like laughing hysterically, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, so we had two similar things happen, but completely different circumstances. So I was older, okay, because when I was young, I had the boobies, but no one liked me because it was like you were ugly as sin. But, you know, I was an early bloomer in the development idea, but my mother wouldn't let me wear makeup till I was friggin' 17. So it was like I look like a little troll. Couldn't have my eyebrows done, and I'm Italian, so these things are bushy.
My mom wanted me to have a unibrow.
Yes,
I had a unibrow.
Yes. Like I
seriously had a unibrow.
Yes, my mother made it so difficult for me. Me and my girlfriend, we had the same kind of mothers and fathers because my father's terrible like that too. But we literally had to put like dampen colored pencils and use them as makeup in school. You never did that?
No.
Oh my God. So I don't
No.
know. Maybe this is just like me and my weird friend, but this is like literally what we did. We would literally run a colored pencil, like a black colored pencil under hot water
Oh my
and try to
God.
use it as eyeliner. Oh my God. This is how terrible looking we probably really were. Now I look back on it and I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
Well, now you see kids our age and they look like they're like 21.
yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Like, right? Like,
Why did I get that?
my students walk in here and I'm like, cover up. I never thought I would be that person, right? Because like when I
Really?
hit like 18 or 19, I was like, you know, cute and then I could wear makeup and I figured myself out and it wasn't so bad. That's how Ian got so lucky. But anyway, because I didn't know what I had till I had it. But so I would put the makeup on and stuff, and I always like had like the low cut shirts and I'd ride around. I'd be like fine with that. But now my kids come in here and I'm like the little old grandma and I'm like, put a shirt on, like don't you dare. And they're like 13 and 14 and they're like
Really?
showing it all off. And I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
I'm like more strict than their parents. Okay, anyway, so we're rambling. Here we go on side stories again. But so my story's a little bit different. I was like, I don't know, 18 or 19. My hubby
so
has a
you're
mic
older.
now, so he can chime in, but he's not gonna. Our producer. So I think I was like 18 or 19. I don't remember. And I was training this mare, and she was like a fantastic mare, but she was like a 3-year-old.
Was
so
it Itty?
no, it was actually, her name was Fancy. It was actually one of my first ever customers. Like I don't know how to explain it, like paying customer, right? So like I had plenty of customers before who were friends and be like, Dana, hop on my horse and fix it. And I would, and I do that for free, like an idiot. But this was like one of my first times that I had literally 2 lesson students. I had a girl named Abby who I've had forever, and I had a girl named Laura who was like lovely, like absolutely lovely rider who I probably did not deserve to have as a customer. She was a fantastic student. Her mother was hilarious.
Aw.
So her mother's name was Beth, and I can't even call them now to ask them if I can use their names because I don't have their phone number. But anyway, they were fantastic, right? And fantastic little rider. Both girls won everything for me, but they were my only 2 lesson students, and this was my first paid like training horse, right? She was a 3-year-old quarter horse, Fancy. One hot fancy gal was her name. And oh my gosh, I love this horse, right? She was so fun. She was big, she was tall, she was like really sweet. But you would get on her and she would buck, right? So like
no.
you could lunge her on the lunge line and she'd be fine. But she was a bucker. Nothing that was like, I'm going to buck you off. She was just having a good time. Like she was just like a fun loving kind of horse. So I'm going around the ring and I'm like, oh, we're trotting along and she's having a ball. And I have my 2 students riding along with me. Now I look back on this and I'm like, you idiot. You do not ride a 3-year-old horse that's been under saddle for 90 days with 2 beginner riders. Because like, what the heck's wrong with you? But I digress, right? Like simpler times, people. And she's coming around the corner and everybody's watching. Her owner's watching because like they came to check on the progress of their horse. And I had this low-cut T-shirt on,
Oh, of course.
and I'm coming around the corner, and she goes to bucking, right? Well, I lost my stirrup. I go forward. I had this Victoria's Secret bra that clasped in the front.
Oh, no.
It hooked on the horn. I sat up. It like she was bucking. So as she's bucking, she throws me back. Boom, boobs come out, low cut tank top, right? Everything's everywhere. And I turn and look, and aren't the 2 guys that like manage the barn? Like, I shouldn't say they managed, I guess they managed the barn. They were going to drag the arena, so they're standing at the door.
Oh, no.
Boobs everywhere. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. I learned my lesson right then and there in that moment. Like, cover yourself
That
up.
might be worse than my story.
You think so?
Because at least it was like, it was customers and like,
I
barn
guess you're
managers.
right. I guess you're right. Well, see, the customer was freaking fantastic, right? The lady that owned Fancy was like so funny. She just started cracking up. Abby and Amy, who I have had as customers forever, they just laughed their ass. Like everybody just laughed their asses off. And then the 2 boys that were going to drag the arena just pretty much ran away. And then they treated me different after that.
like, oh
they
my
were like,
God.
we've seen you. And I was like, it is what it is, people. I don't know what to tell you.
There I was,
Like-
barbecue sauce on my titties.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Literally.
much. So I was just like, it is what it is. Bra ruined. I was more upset about the bra at the
They're
time.
expensive.
Yes. I was like
50
so
bucks.
upset about the bra. I was like, what the shit? Like, this is gone. Like, this is my favorite bra. But we had Actually, it's still to this day like a really funny story between me, Abby, Amy, and then Laura. She stopped riding, so actually I don't have them anymore.
She didn't stop riding altogether?
Yeah, she didn't stop because of me, but she just up one day, teenage years, and she just was like, I like boys more, and I don't want to show horses anymore. And that was such a shame because, oh my God, could that girl ride? But yeah, it was like so freaking hilarious, like absolutely hilarious. Then I take this horse to a show because we're into funny stories, so I'm just gonna let them roll.
Go for it.
So we take this horse to a show, and she's doing so good, and I have her. It was actually one of the fairs. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of the fairs. And back in this time, the fairs were still A-rated. They're not anymore. So, like, right now, it's like a fun show. It's not like you're doing it for points, at least around here.
Okay.
So, back then, it was actually rated. So, it was like a pretty big deal. And the horse was showing the junior horse class. And me and my dad, he's like telling me, that curb chain goes under. I'm like, no, it goes over. That goes under. It goes over. We're like,
chain?
Yes, like we're fighting. We're literally fighting over this curb chain, right?
Oh,
and he's like trying to change it. So I go in the ring and I'm showing and I'm going around. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This horse is riding great, right? And people are looking, and I'm like, why are people looking? Like, well, actually, I wasn't
just
like, why are
doing
people
that
looking?
good. Look at me.
Like a little piece of me is like, oh, she's doing so great, right? And don't I look down, and aren't all like the bottom buttons of my hunt coat just boom open, belly and all? I didn't wear a shirt. I wore a dickie. Like, so a dickie is, because I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
A dickie is like a fake shirt. Okay, so
a fake shirt?
Yes.
What?
Yes, it's like a bib. So instead of wearing, you know how you wear like a hunt coat and then you wear like a shirt under, like a button-up shirt?
I've never worn a hunt coat.
Okay, well if you look at the girl, so go home on Instagram and check out your reels, right? Because we know you're doing it anyway. But look at the outfits, okay? If they're showing, look at the outfits, and they will have like a suit. It looks like a hunt coat, suit jacket, like a coat. And then underneath it, they'll have a shirt, right? So,
but they're fake.
Well, no. So some people wear a real shirt, but me, being this lazy asshole that I am, I don't wear a real shirt. I wear a dickie because I'm sweating, okay? Like, even at this time, I'm thin. Thank God. Because if it would be now, I'd be dead. I would just die. But I was wearing a dickie because, you know what, people? I'm lazy. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know why else I would wear a dickie, but I'm lazy, and it's easy, and you just strap it on. It's a Velcro strap, and off you go. And I change a lot of outfits for classes, so I put this dickie on, and rule number 1 of wearing a dickie is you wear a tank top underneath. Well, guess who didn't? Me, because I'm an asshole, right? Like, I'm just an idiot.
Just don't care.
I'm like, I look down and everything is just out. Like, out. Everything is just out except for the boobs. This is the one time the boobs weren't out.
Like your, like, stomach,
my little sitting fupa, because no matter how thin you are, you have one, right? So, like, as I'm posting around, there it is, jiggling away. Like, and okay, I was thin, thank God. Because, like I said, if it was now, I would just die. But it was just open. Like, it was just open. Everything, like, literally looked like I was trying to bring sexy back to the ring.
It was an actual show.
Yes. And everybody's looking at me. You think one person would be like, hey, button up. No, photographer and all. Okay?
Horses and strippers.
Here we
Combined.
go. Yes. So embarrassing. I was like mortified. Absolutely mortified. Like, I have so many. I literally have so many stories like this. So if anybody is out there listening to this and they think that they've made a fool of themselves, honey, I swear to God, I'll take the crown. There's no way anybody can be more embarrassing than me. There's just no way.
Yeah, except in my day-to-day life. I mean, my day-to-day life, honestly, is just like an entire joke.
Yes,
like everything I do.
Oh my God. Well, I might be obnoxious, but sometimes I get a little socially awkward, right? Like, I just don't know when to end a conversation, so I'll just keep talking.
I'm the queen of Irish goodbyes.
Yes.
Just, like, straight up, when I'm done, I just leave. I don't say bye. Like, I don't hug family bye. I'm just like, peace.
Everybody will be like, where's Jen? I don't know. She left.
She's gone.
She's just gone. Where the frick did she go? No one knows.
Leaving conversations has to be, like, the most uncomfortable thing. Especially with people that you're, like, not friends with, like, associated with.
Yes.
Like, my boyfriend's family sometimes, like, I get so awkward because I'm like, okay, bye.
That's when I just like whip out the phone and I'm just like, but see, I can't run from it sometimes because we have the lessons. We have people calling and asking for
moms.
lessons. I have the moms. I have new customers. And see, I'm real bad about reading people. So, like, as you know, because I
Yeah.
couldn't even do our last episode because I was
Oh my
worried I was
God.
going to spill the beans on Jen's birthday present, which, by the way, we have to say happy birthday to Jen.
Thank you.
It was her birthday. She's
24 wonderful years.
Yes, she's another old. She's becoming old. No, she's not. I'm kidding.
Next
But
year I'm going to be 25. And, like, honestly, that's terrifying.
I don't want to hear it. I'm going to be 31. 31.
not.
Swear to God.
What?
Swear to God, 31. I'm just
Why
old.
did I think you were, like, 26?
Don't know. 31. 31.
I literally thought you were so much younger than
No,
that.
I'm old as shit. I'm
Oh
old as
my
shit. I just don't
God.
act like it.
I literally thought you were, like,
Now, do you
26.
feel weird? Do you feel like I'm like weirdo?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just like an old person. That's
No.
all.
Matt's going to be 28, I think, my boyfriend. So.
Oh, see, now I really thought he was older. I thought he was like 33.
Really?
Oh my God! Hope he doesn't listen to this. He's gonna be embarrassed. No,
He's
I
got
did.
a baby face, though. That's surprising.
I thought he was older. I think because he acts so put together.
I
Maybe it's
know.
like the military stuff.
He's, like, too stable. Like, too mentally stable.
Right? Like I was talking to him yesterday, and like, well, Ian's kind of the same way.
It's, like, not normal, though, like, how, like, stable he is.
they,
like,
they act like old men, both of them.
Yeah.
Like you would think you're talking to like I swear to God, Ian's 90 at like sometimes, and
I
he's
always
like,
call him my old man.
yes, yes, like oh my, like how they call him old lady,
Yeah.
like or biker chicks.
No, but, like, literally, though, like, well, he has, like, a really bad back injury, too. Like, his back's broken from the military.
Yeah.
So he, like, limps around and stuff.
See, I've never noticed his limp. Never.
Really?
Never.
If you look, he walks, like, kind of weird.
Does he? Oh, so people don't send your horse to me for a soundness exam
Like-
because I'm not going to notice.
Like, side to side. You'll see it.
Aw, poor
Yeah.
Matt. I love him.
He's so sweet.
When he messaged me, he was so cute, right? Because, like, I said, well, you know, she got so much of this lease that you get, like, a free hoodie. Like, which, like, big deal, right? Oh, free hoodie. But
hoodie.
I was like, I don't know what size for her to be, like, what size to get her. And I'm not going to put your size out here. But he's like, I don't care. Like, I'm not sure what size. And then he came back with me, like, with a size. He must have checked, like, your dressers or something. But he came back with me, like, with a size. And then he's like, just make sure it's extra comfy. And I was like, you are the cutest person I've ever seen in my life. That's what he said.
says that?
Make sure he's something comfy. I think that's what he said to me. I have to check the message. And like I was messaging him and I said to Ian, I said, oh my God, watch him and Jen get in a fight because he's like messaging somebody, but he's not going to show her. I'm like, oh no.
my God. No, we are like the most like secure couple. Like we don't ever like he doesn't like I have this weird situation with my ex where like we share a dog and like yeah, like Indigo.
Oh my God. So
So-
you're like speaking to me because join the friggin' club. Like we're meant to be. We're meant to be. We are finding things out about each other that like this is like the same ordeal. Okay, anyway, go on.
Yeah, so Indigo, we got so you know how like some people have like babies to save relationships?
Yes.
And it's a bad idea. Well, we got a puppy to save a relationship.
Oh my gosh. So
And
I feel
that's
like I've
little
done
Indigo.
that. I feel like people have done that with horses here. Like, I'm
Really?
going to buy my wife a horse. And then the wife leaves and still keeps the horse in training. And the
And then
husband's
the
like
man's
long
just-
gone.
Yep.
And then he's like, that's my friggin' horse. And the lady's like, no, it ain't. Sorry.
Not anymore. Sorry, buckaroo.
Right?
I feel like if Matt bought me a horse, he'd be like, I'm riding this horse too. If I left him.
Oh my God. He'd be like that weirdo that like, it's like, you can have him on Mondays and Wednesdays and I'll have him on Thursdays and Fridays.
That's like how it is though with Indigo. It's so weird.
Does he actually pick him up?
Yeah. And like sometimes he'll pick him up and take him on a hike and then drop him back off. It's
Oh
like
my God.
it's like sharing a child. It
This is
so
really
weird.
odd. This is really
Yeah.
odd. So I'm not even gonna say it. I got something I can say, but I'm not even gonna say it.
Oh,
So-
no. Oh,
because
no.
I don't need people getting mad at me. But just know our lives are very similar. That's all. That's all the
Oh,
world
no.
has to know in a weird way. And it's odd,
Random
isn't
way.
it?
Like random like things that like most
then
people
they-
wouldn't share.
And then they think they can text you about things concerning the dog, right? Like, do you get
he
that?
will text me about things concerning his current girlfriend.
Oh my God! Here we go. We're spilling the tea
No.
on here.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
God.
kidding. We won't divulge. We won't go crazy.
But yeah, it's like so weird, and it's like okay,
It's
dude,
weird. It's like their way of keeping like an
In
open
contact.
Yes, like they don't
Yeah.
want to fully let go.
But Matt is so chill about it. Like that's the amazing thing is like he trusts me enough, and he's like secure enough in himself where it doesn't bother him. He doesn't ever ask, like, oh no, the cat came back.
We have a cat in our tack room, and she likes to rub on the table and the mics.
He never asked, like, you know, to see messages, to, like, it doesn't. Oh,
there she is. She's saying hello. She's making her podcast debut. This is Sierra
wow.
the Barn Kitty. We only have one world, so there she is.
She hates Matt, by the way.
Does she? No, she hates. Okay, so she was a house cat. Not mine, people. But the former owner, you know her, the former owner. She was a house cat for, like, she's 16 years old. She was a house cat for, like, 13 years or whatever, and then the old owner moved out and just chucked her outside in the barn.
What the hell?
And I have my own cats.
Wait,
that
this
fight
was
with her. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's her cat, and I would bring her in the house, but
The 10 million dogs.
my 10 million dogs, and then my cat is evil. I have that big giant Maine Coon, and she's like rotten.
Oh, Maine Coons are known to be.
Yeah, and she's like really protective, so she won't let her in the house. And one of the boarders tried to take her home, and she was just a disaster. So she's happy out here. Like,
Yeah.
she's really happy. I mean, I make sure she gets her food and stuff, but yeah, she's happy. But she's outside. But that's why she's afraid of everything and everybody. Because if she doesn't know you, she's like, who are you?
Oh my god.
Yeah, once she gets to know you, she's fine.
But yeah, so no, literally, anyways, I guess the funniest thing to ever happen was when Matt and I moved in together, I started asking to see Indigo and, like, have him. Because so Indigo had this whole thing where at 6 months old, he developed an autoimmune disease from, like, a vaccination. He got, like, injured from a vaccine, and he developed, like, it's like hemolytic anemia, where pretty much his body was, like, breaking down his own red blood cells.
Yeah.
And, well, I shouldn't have said his name.
We can beep it. We'll go through an editing and beep it out.
Thou who shall not be named.
We'll call him Voldemort. How about that?
He had never had a dog before, so he had no idea, like, what, to look for. And, like, he was, in his defense, like, he was just listening to the vet, and this vet shouldn't have vaccinated Indigo with, like, everything under the moon. Like, anything you could think of to give a dog a vaccine for money is what this vet did within, like, a 2-week span.
Oh my gosh.
Which is terrible. And, oh, the cat. So Indigo starts getting this, like, really bad, like, vertigo and falling down, and oh my god. Anyways, he takes him to the vet, the same vet that vaccinated him, and the vet is like, he probably has a blockage. We'll do an ultrasound and see what it is in 3 days. And then he finally reaches out to me. He's like, hey, like, something's wrong with the dog. And, like, I've grown up with dogs. Like, we've done dog rescue my whole life. So, like, right away, I'm like, okay, we're taking him to the emergency vet in Orchard Park. Like, we're not waiting 3 days. Like, this is serious. The vet in Orchard Park said that he was literally suffocating from the inside out, and he had, like, 3 hours to live.
Oh, my God.
And it was going to be, like, $8,000.
Oh, my gosh. So he's, like, the
Yeah.
world's most expensive dog.
No. So, long story short, me being, like, the resourceful person I am, I reached out to Border Collie Rescues. I reached out to different vets. I was in contact with Cornell, who was going to take him. And long story short, originally we were going to surrender him and to this rescue so that they would pay for the blood transfusion that he would need. But the vet that we took him to ended up doing the whole procedure, all the blood work for, like, just under $1,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we
neat.
were able to keep him. But anyways, long story short, I had Indigo at my mom's house for a while, but, like, he is so, like, personable and bubbly. Like, it's hard for him to be around other dogs like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then finally, like, I'm, like, rambling at this point. But finally, when I move into Matt's house, I'm like, okay, well, I can start, like, having Indigo again. Because I gave him back to around, like, Christmas.
Yeah.
And a couple, like, weeks into having him, sends me this, like, really weird text. And he's like, just so you know, Matt's not Indigo's dad. I'm Indigo's dad.
Like, how weird.
We were literally laughing so hard at that text. Like, Matt and I both were like, dude, no, he's a dog,
He's
right?
not, I'm
Like,
not. You're not my father.
he's not his dad.
Right?
He's not his
Like,
real
how
dad.
weird.
It was really, really
That is
bizarre.
odd. Ian, do you want to pick up the cat, please? Like, hold her. Because she's just
needy.
banging around. She's terrible. This is what she wants. She wants to be held and pet. Just sit there and pet her.
She wants to be on the
There, she
podcast.
wants to be on the podcast so bad.
She's so lovey.
She is. All right. Okay. So we'll get back to some embarrassing stories. So we ended with my gut hanging out, my little fupa
yeah.
hanging out and posting around the ring, and everybody in awe. Well, I'm going to tell you because not that anybody really cares if I won that class or not, but you know what? I do, and I won that class. So there we go. So it was a wardrobe malfunction, and the judge literally said, I see your buttons popped. To me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what happened. And she still won the class. So not only was I going around with my gut out, but she was that beautiful. So
oh my gosh.
yeah, so I don't know, people were either looking at the belly or they were looking at the horse,
and you
but
can't
either
like
way.
fix yourself like once you're
Oh my god, so I have so that's not the only time that this mess has happened. Are we ready for another number 2? Right, this podcast will literally just be filled with stories of my unpreparedness and embarrassment. And I will let the world know that I have gotten better. I'm not going to say that I've solved the problem, but I have gotten better about preparing myself more. So we were showing at a horse show that is not around anymore, which is so sad. It was called Amateur. So this is before I was a trainer. But I was riding a friend of mine's horse. His name was Gibson. He was absolutely lovely. And I was riding him hunt seat, and we were getting ready for a class, and all of a sudden they scratched. So scratched means they like got rid of classes. Like no one was entered in them and they're just not going to have them. Right. So I went from having like 6 classes to get ready to all of a sudden having no time whatsoever. It was like next class is hunter pleasure. I think it was an amateur class. I'm not sure. Well, I know it was an amateur class, but I can't remember if it was a junior exhibitor class or an amateur. So junior exhibitor means you're under like 18 years old. Amateur is like anybody. You can be like 100 years old and go riding there.
Oh, okay.
You're just not a professional. Like I can't show in an amateur class anymore. But so we're like, oh my gosh. So thank God I had 3 girls to help me, right? They throw his saddle on. One of them's braiding him because he wasn't even braided. We had 5 classes, right? And I know some trainers are going to listen to this and be like, idiot. Like, why wasn't your horse ready in the first thing in the morning? But he wasn't. Okay, I was like 15. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get ready. I have to get dressed. Thank God I had my breeches on. And I threw my Dickie on. Dickie again, right? Dickie problem
maybe
once
that's
again.
Like not something you should
right,
wear.
Right. But I had a tank top on this time. And I throw my coat on, and they're literally put me up on this horse. This is how good this horse was. They put me up on this horse, and they're fastening his bridle. He didn't have a bit in. They had a halter on him. They're putting his bridle on as we're walking him up to the ring because you have to be like seen so they don't start the class without you. Now, in the grand scheme of things, now that I look at this as a trainer, just missed the friggin' class. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, come on, girl. But I was by myself. My grandmother, who was supposed to be helping me, was in the bathroom, right? 'Cause she was in the bathroom because we were supposed to have like 6 classes.
Was this at the fair still?
No, this is a different show. It's called, they don't have it anymore. It was called Amateur. It was at Horseheads, in Horseheads, New York.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah, so it was a really fun show that they used to have that they just don't have anymore. We just didn't, I guess they didn't have the turnout for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're going, and I am on the horse. They're trying to put the bridle on the horse as we're going. They get it on. He's like braided like terribly. I'm trying to like stuff the Dickie down into my jacket and button my jacket as I'm riding. And you know what? We should have brought Grandma on to the podcast to have her tell this story because she tells it so much better. But I'm going to tell it. Maybe we'll tell it again from her point of view. So I'm in the ring, and I'm riding the hell out of this horse, right? I want these ribbons. Why? I don't know. And we're going around, and all of a sudden, my Dickie starts coming out from my coat.
Oh, no.
Now, mind you, did I pick, like, a nice white Dickie that isn't going to be, like, so vibrant? No. I pick a bright, hot orange Dickie that everybody and their brother is going to see.
Oh,
so my grandmother comes out of the bathroom, which is kind of down the hill, and she's looking, and she's like, look at that poor, like, she'll literally tell you if you talk to her, look at this poor friggin' kid that's like all disheveled. Like, look at this poor kid on this poor horse.
That's your
right?
kid.
And she's like, I walked 3 steps up the hill, and I looked, and I realized, that's my fucking kid. That's literally what she said. So she goes, and my grandma doesn't swear. So for those of you, when she drops the F-bomb, that's a big deal.
That's hilarious.
So she goes running up the hill, and she's like, patting her chest. So now we're back to my point of view as I'm going around and I see the Dickie coming out, but I'm like eyes up, focused on my horse. And she's like patting her chest like a madman. And she's like, put it back, put it back. So as I'm riding, I one-hand the reins on this Morgan in a hunt class with a double bridle on. And I stuff with my other hand my Dickie down and in. And then grab the reins and continue on.
And you didn't get disqualified?
No, I got 5th. I will never forget that place or that class till the day I die. I got 5th. Big old pink ribbon. I was so proud of myself because that's like a pretty good show. Like it was an A-rated show. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like with reining and stuff, like if you like grab on with 2 hands or something, you're like automatically disqualified.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Maybe the judge just felt bad for me. I have no idea. I know I one-handed the reins, tossed the shirt back in, and then went back to 2 hands. I know this. So maybe they'll strip it from me, but the show doesn't exist anymore. So I have the little pink ribbon. So kiss my ass. You're not getting that ribbon.
Come get that ribbon.
I'll guard it with my life. I love that ribbon. But so that's like one of many. Well, like, I don't know. I've probably told 3 now. That's like 3 of many, many, many embarrassing, horrible stories.
I feel like you have way more than me. Because like horse stories, like the only one I can like remember is the bra one.
Well, the ones that stick in your head, which is all right, because trust me, if you hang out here, you will have so many more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time I ride around the ring, I'm like,
didn't you show? Okay, so we did have somebody write in. Okay, we did have somebody write in that wanted to know, in our last episode, you did talk about a horse show and why. Remember, I said we would get to that in a different episode? Yes. So maybe this is this episode because you're out of embarrassing story. So, I mean, I guess it's technically still embarrassing.
So this probably is embarrassing. So, yeah, this was, like, literally scarred me for life.
For life?
Like, I was scarred. So, I was riding at this barn before with the previous owner, obviously, and she had reining horses. I mean, they were old reining horses. They really, like, weren't what they should be for a reining horse. But, you know, whatever. Like, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to ride. I'm trying to have fun.
But you're like a kid, so you probably really don't know any better. Like, now looking back on it,
I was in high school, so I was maybe, like, between 14 and 16.
Yeah.
And she finally tells me, like, hey, we're going to go to the show. Didn't, like, prepare me for the show at all. Didn't tell me what to expect. Didn't, like, tell me how to get my horse ready.
This is the same trainer that you barely got lessons from, right? Like, you'd clean stalls all day and you get to ride for 5 minutes without her, right?
Or I would be so freaking tired from cleaning that I'd be like, it's like 8 o'clock, like I have to go home, like I have to eat something.
Like, you didn't feed me, you didn't let me ride, you didn't do anything.
Oh my god.
But, okay.
Yeah, so we take Red, and he's this really pretty.
I know Red. He was here when I bought the place. He was still here. Okay.
Yeah, he was really cute.
He was a nice little horse.
A little spooky at times, which
Yeah.
So anyways, I was riding Red, and nobody told me that Red has a problem with miniature horses.
Like a primal fear.
Terrified.
Yes, because not to interrupt your story, but when I came here, I have Jenny, right? Our donkey that tells us when time is up. So when he saw her, he just about went through a stall door. So I know, I've seen this fear full force.
He hates miniature horses.
Yes.
Hates them. Well, we were at Stagecoach West in, where is that, like Angola?
I think it's Irving.
Silver Creek. Yeah. And it was just a small show. And like, mind you, like I'd never been to a show. I've never shown. She gave me no like idea of what to expect. She didn't tell me how to pack up the horse. She didn't tell me how to do anything.
So to you, this is a big deal. Like, it might seem like a little show to everybody else, but like your first horse show is a huge deal, whether it be the smallest thing in the world.
I was like so excited. I was like nervous. And she signs me up for a Western pleasure class.
Oh, dear God.
Number 1 mistake. It's a reining horse. Okay, for those of you who don't know, reining horses are not Western pleasure horses.
No, they are not.
They're very big in their movements. They're very strong and they're fast. Western pleasure horses like are slow, like in slow motion moving. So,
head's really low, like nice and collected.
Yeah, not Red.
No.
So we're in this show ring, and Red knows we're in a show ring. So he thinks it's reining class. So he's all like, oh my God, like,
oh my God, he's like full charge. He's like, we're loping,
he was like
ready.
Axel. He was like, we're gonna go. I got you, girl. Like, hold on.
We're gonna win all of this. Look at all these slowpokes.
He's like, look at these losers. Like, watch this.
They're all doing it wrong, and I'm gonna show you how to do it right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to use the one rein. I'm trying to neck rein, and then he's just boom, like he's just taken off. And like we're just like running around these horses limping, just running around him. And then I hit the mic. And then he sees the minis. And
dear
like,
God.
I hate minis. And he's freaking out in the ring. So I have 2 hands. So like I'm automatically disqualified. And I have 2 hands. And I'm trying to contain this wild animal that probably looks like he's barely broke in the ring. Just freaking out, like screaming at the minis.
Losing it. Now, big question. Did you invite everybody to come watch you?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so like my
I
family,
feel like that's better.
well, my family kind of sucks when it comes to like watching me do anything.
Is
Like-
it just you, or is it everybody? They suck watching everybody, or are you
I
like
don't
the black
know.
sheep?
My
'Cause
mom
I
used to,
I
like-
join you in this.
So my mom used to like drop me off at chorus concerts and then like forget that I was at a chorus concert, and then one time she didn't like show up until like 3 hours after it ended, and I was so pissed at her for that. Yeah, so that's what I
my
deal with.
God.
Like that's just one example of many. Like it's my dad didn't go to my sister's college graduation
Oh my
or
gosh.
high school graduation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my mom and dad, right? They're great. But my mom has this primal fear of horses, right? So
Oh,
actually we'll get into a story. My mom's fear of horses was brought on by my father, right? He scarred her for life. So they were young,
no.
they had me really young, and my dad, do you remember I referred to him as the cowboy out west, right? Like he's a wild man. So he thinks everybody can ride. Like he's like, you're fine. You're good. Get up there and do it. Like, you'll
Just
be
do
fine.
it.
No one is supposed to have any fear, right? You're just good. You're ready to go. You're
Oh,
born
Lord.
ready. So my poor mother, who is just generally I'm not going to call her a scaredy cat because she's not a scaredy cat, but she's generally always like timid, right? She approaches things with caution. So I don't know exactly how this goes because this is like long before my time. But he's like, hop on my horse, like get up there.
Oh no.
And he throws her up on the horse. To my understanding, my recollection, he'll tell you that this is not how this went. But to my recollection, he throws her up on the horse, he slaps it on the ass, and he says, off you go.
Oh my
And
God.
The horse just goes, right? He just books it. Because that's just, and I'm sorry, I adore my father so much. But, like, I know that's true because I know my father.
Oh, yeah. I've
Okay.
had so many people try to get behind the horse when I was on it and smack it in the ass. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Leave me alone.
Like, don't kill me.
yeah,
Like, leave me be.
stop. People used to do that to me all the time at other barns. It's like, get the hell away from me.
Right,
I hope
right.
the horse kicks you.
Right? But, so this is where my mother's fear of horses comes from, like, primal. So she will admit that she does not come up here and watch me practice. She will not, because she's like, if you fall off, I can't handle it.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
she's a weirdo. And I mean, I guess I don't have any kids, so I guess I don't understand that. But I kind of have a feeling when I have kids, I'm going to be the mom that's like, you fell off? Okay, get back on. You're fine.
Well, that's how it should be.
yeah.
Like, because that's how you, like, fix that fear, technically.
yeah.
And then if you fall off, isn't the horse, like, more apt to, like, do it if you don't get back on?
Yeah, I would think. I
Yeah.
mean, but it's just like, it was like so funny. So that's where her fear comes from. So she really doesn't,
Did she fall off or did he just take off?
I don't know. I have to ask her for another episode of the podcast. I feel like he just took off and she lived. Oh,
She
here we go.
lived.
Here we go. We're burping again.
I love that.
Sorry, people. Okay, so that happened. So she has like a genuine fear. So she will only ever come to like Erie Fair and watch me, and that's it. And that's like a little show now. So, but she lives through me and all my successes in a way. Like she's
Aw.
so proud of it, but she's so petrified. She just can't handle it.
My mom was so funny yesterday because I was telling her, because you were telling me how, like, when she came in to see Lannister, she was, like, petting him and, like, oh,
she
he has a
was.
cow. And my mom is so against me getting a horse.
Oh, so she had to tell you she hated his guts?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, because I told you yesterday, Matt originally was going to buy Lannister.
Yes.
Which,
So this is like where this first I don't know how to word it. The first recording of the second episode got so hairy is because I had to try to keep this secret about Jen's birthday gift.
we
And I
found
just
out
couldn't do
Dana
it.
cannot keep secrets.
No, I can't.
Because I was literally brushing Bo and I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm trying to guess what Matt's going to get me for my birthday. And he hasn't, like, told me yet. And Dana just abruptly goes, well, no one contacted me.
No one's called me yet. No one.
And I'm like, okay.
Like, okay, you big liar.
Like, okay, I see what's going on here.
I can't lie. I couldn't even look at you when we tried to film the episode.
It was the
on
way you
Thursday.
said. I was like, really, Dana? Like,
right?
really?
Hey, I tried. And in Matt's defense, I really tried. I really did. He wanted it to be a surprise, I feel like.
I'm hard to surprise. Because, like, I can tell when someone's, like,
because you're like
me.
a little digger. You're
Yeah.
like, you looked me dead in the eyes when you asked me that question. And I'm like, she's digging for it. Oh, no. Right away.
I know how to get people to, like, crack.
You know what's weird is I can't lie, but I can do the same thing.
Yeah, get people to
Like,
crack.
I can just, like, stare at you till you give me the information I want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or I can, like, I just know how to do that. I don't know. It's so weird.
My mom always told me I was a witch. She's like, you're a witch. Like,
Literally.
like a little, like a Salem
Matt
witch
calls me a
trial.
witch.
Yeah.
Matt always, like, says in Cosmo's voice, like, she's a witch. She's a witch. Because I'm always so mean to Cosmo because he's so bad. And, like, apparently Cosmo thinks I'm a witch.
Yeah, so my mom was always like that. She's like, you're a witch. You're a witch.
You're a
And, like,
witch.
we used to make like really good fun because I loved Harry Potter,
Aw,
right?
that's so cute.
Ian does this thing where if I do something good with a horse, he'll look at me and he'll be like, "You're a wizard, Harry," and I'll be like, "You know what? Kiss my ass, guy."
That's kind of hilarious. That's something Matt would say, honestly.
Yes, it's so embarrassing because like I've won classes at big shows and come out and he looks me dead in the face in front of everybody and he'll be like, "You're
All
a
he
wizard,
says.
Harry." And
Not
I'm like,
good
"Can
job,
you not?"
babe.
No, you're a wizard. He'll yell it as loud as he could, and I'm like, "Can you not?"
That
like,
literally
do
is
that?
Matt. Matt
Yeah.
would do the same exact
I'm
thing.
telling you, it's so embarrassing. But so that's like been my thing for my whole life is people just be like, "How do you do this? How do you just like look at me and I crumble?"
I know.
But I succumb to the same torture. So if you just stare at me for a while, if I'm telling a lie, I just crap.
Well, it's exciting. Like when I know someone's gonna like something's good is gonna happen to someone, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't wait for them to
like,
know.
I can't hold it in. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, same thing.
But no, like after that, she was like, yeah, like he's really beautiful and we should go sometime and give him a bath and brush him together. And I'm like, okay, Mom.
she's getting into the
I
swing
know.
of things. She is so sweet. Like she's generally
an angel.
sweet.
She has like this huge soft spot for animals. So she'll be like, no, and then she'll be like, oh.
The second she saw him, she like touched his face and she's like, "What a kind eye!" And I was like, "He's sold."
He's
like
sold.
my business part, my trainer mentality was like, "He's gone. He's Jen's."
gone.
Which I mean, like that's the horse I wanted you to have. So
We'll still see. I mean, it's not.
well, I know it's
for
not
sure,
definite,
yeah.
but I was
Yeah.
just like when she like fell in love with it, like he's hard not to love.
I know. He's so sweet and bubbly and
yes, like he's so hard not to love.
I know.
Okay, so back to this horse show because we are just terrible with the
I
rambling
know.
today. But that's what this episode is. It's a fun.
It's not
episode.
serious.
No.
It's not serious.
We want the world to have a glimpse into our messed up lives. And actually, my mother, this is how disappointed I am in her, right? My mother and my father, neither of them have listened. Well, that's a lie.
I don't
My
think my
mother
mom's listened
listened.
either.
My mom listened the other day when I like forced her to listen, and then she called me crying about how wonderful it was. And I'm like, "Oh my, I don't know if she's
I
lying or
can't
not."
handle crying.
But my father has not listened yet. But in his like defense, I have told him don't listen till we get 3 or 4 episodes. So there's that. But other people in this world have actually listened to us and enjoyed it. We have had call-ins. We've had people asking questions.
Yeah,
like this,
which is
this
crazy.
horse show question.
we
came
should
from a
have
caller.
people send in their crazy horse stories.
That's
so we can,
what I kind of think. Yeah, like
yeah.
let's hear your crazy horse story. So at least I don't feel like
Left
such
out?
a schlong. Yeah, like such a fool. Okay, but anyway, back to Jen's. We're finishing up Jen's story about her horse show. Okay,
Oh
off
my
you
god,
go.
yeah. Okay, so Red.
So no one was there to see you. He saw
Ugh.
the minis. You're trying to control him, and he looks unbroke. That's where we ended, I think.
Yeah. So that's like the gist, and of course I didn't place anything in it, and I was so, like, I don't know if I was like pissed off or like sad or angry. I was definitely like angry. I think I was more angry. I wasn't angry at Red though. I was angry at the woman who thought that it was a good idea and who's owned Red for however many years. So she knows that he's
Right?
scared
It
of
was
minis.
so irresponsible. It was
That was so
absolutely
bad.
irresponsible.
That was so, like, if my kid went in the situation that I went in, I would literally kick the trainer's ass.
Right?
'Cause, like, she should have known better. Like, I got off that horse and I
Now,
left.
a question. What did she even say to you?
oh my God, she wanted me to just stick around and help like close everything down.
Oh, so work some more. So you go out there,
Yeah.
you get embarrassed, you're scared, you're
I get
frightened.
off red. I get off red right away, and I'm like tears, like crying, and I just hand the horse off, and I'm like, I'm leaving. Like,
Now, did she yell at you for crying? Because I do. Okay, so
she was mad at me.
So for the horse world, I do yell at my girls for crying unless they're scared. So the only time I let my kids cry is if they're scared. But if they're frustrated, you don't cry. Like I get mad at that.
Is I was extremely embarrassed, and
Yeah.
I hate being embarrassed. Like I wasn't.
So
upset.
I kind of feel like she set you up.
Yeah,
She
I wasn't
definitely
like a
set you up
sore
for that.
loser. Like I wasn't even going in it thinking I was gonna win. I was just so embarrassed that I made myself look like a complete idiot.
Yeah,
And,
so
like-
like that, I don't think as a trainer I would be mad.
Yeah, I was so just like heartbroken that like it was my first show and like I came into it super excited and then I just looked like an idiot.
Yeah, and she like told you pretty much you were gonna succeed. Because like to me, like your duty as a trainer is you don't sign your kids up for something unless you truly believe they can handle the situation, right?
Yeah.
So like just
Or don't sign up a reining horse for a Western Pleasure Show knowing that they're fast. Like
right? Or even if you do that, at least tell the person, like, listen, we're here, like, because I mean, I'll be honest, I've sent my kids in on horses that, like, say they didn't have, like, a ranch class, like a ranch pleasure class, and my horse is a ranch horse, so they're faster than the Western pleasure horses, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the difference. So I have sent my kids in there and done that, but I always look at my kids and say, this is for practice. We're going in there. You're going to be faster than everybody else. It's okay. Ride your horse. Ride how we ride at home. And will you get a ribbon? Probably not, but we're here for practice, right? She could have did something like that.
Yeah.
There was
No.
just no warning. But then again, I mean, what in my idea of a trainer after hearing the story, what do I expect? Because she didn't even give you lessons. She just took you.
No. Yeah, and then she got mad that I left and that I didn't help like close anything down, but it's like, dude, I was so upset like I couldn't stay there. Like I was just like devastated. And
Right?
I like had to leave. I was just
Just there was
So
like no
embarrassed.
words of encouragement or anything like that. Oh my God,
No.
that's terrible.
And like I wasn't wearing a helmet. I was wearing like a cowboy hat. And like he was going so fast. Like the cowboy hat was like pinned to my hair.
Oh my God.
He was going so fast that my cowboy hat literally wasn't staying on, and it was pinned to my hair.
So, okay, I have a funny story. Not that your story is funny, and not that I have to interrupt you. And my customer will let me tell this, okay? I know for a fact she'll let me tell this. So this is, as a trainer, this is one of the funniest things that as a trainer has ever happened to me my whole life. And all these girls in the barn know the story except for you. So you have to be filled in on this.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm interrupting Jen's story
You're
again.
fine.
Poor Jen. But I send this lady into the ring, right? And I'm not going to name names and I'm not going to even tell you the horse or anything like that on here. Because I know she'll let me tell the story, but I don't want her to be embarrassed publicly. So, she already did it, but whatever. So we're at a practice show, a beginner show. And she takes this mare out and she's riding around this mare and they actually look pretty good. So she was like an older lady and they're like, oh, I don't want, she said, looks at me, she was doing walk trot. Okay, let's get this straight. She was doing walk trot and the horse, she could lope the horse because none of my kids take their horses to shows unless they know how to lope because you never know what's going to happen. So that's like
Yeah.
a prereq. So she does know how to lope. So halfway through the show, she looks at me, she goes, Dana, I'm ready. I'm ready to move up into the loping class. I know I can do it. I've conquered the walk trot. I look fabulous. All this, I'm ready. I'm ready to go into a loping class. So as a trainer, I'm like looking at the situation. I'm like, she lopes pretty good at home. Is she going to win anything? No, but like she lopes pretty good at home. So I'm like, okay. So I send her into this like loping class. And the only thing left was like a amateur open class. So it's like a big class.
Uh-oh.
So I look at her. I'm like, this is a big class. You better be sure you can do this. So she's like warming up and she's doing good in the warm up. And I'm like, oh my God, she can do this, right? So I send her in. She's coming around the ring. She goes into the lope. The horse just blows right out from under her. I don't know if she squeezed. I don't know what she did. She looked like Woody on Bullseye. So you ever see like Woody ride
no.
Bullseye? Legs, arms, hands.
It's a barrel race.
I'm like, dear God, like what happened to my student? What happened to my horse? Like what is going on? My grandmother comes over to me and she's like, what the hell is she doing out there?
The horse is like, hang on, cowabunga
Yes, so like the horse is just flying. People are like looking at her. People are looking back at me. And of course, stupid us, our group, right? We have these gold shiny jackets. We're all wearing these gold shiny jackets. So it's like, you know who she's
They
with.
look just at you.
We all, like, we have a group of us. You all know who we're with. So all of a sudden, she's coming around the corner. She's at a lope, people. Like, this is how insane it is. Her hat flies off. She drops the reins and tries to grab the hat.
Oh, no.
Thank God, the second she dropped the reins, the horse hits the brakes. She goes flying over the front. She didn't come off, thank God. She goes flying over the front. Hair going everywhere. Hats in the dirt. There's like 20 horses in the class. I'm mortified. I literally, for the first time in my whole life, I just put my hands over my eyes and put my head on the rail and just shook my head back and forth. This lady walked up to me. I don't even know who she is still to this day. If you're listening to this and you were that lady, thank you. She puts her hand on my shoulder. She goes, honey, there's nothing you can do. And she was trying. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was mortified. So then she finishes the class. How she finishes the class, I don't know. She comes out of the ring. And instinctively, I'm like, why would you drop your reins in a class of 20 horses to catch a friggin' hat? Like, I'm like all upset.
All angry.
Because I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like, this is like number 101. So she turns and looks at me. And this is when I knew I fell in love with this woman, right? This is when I'm like, you are one of my favorite customers ever. She turned and looked at me. She's like, she did not cry. She did not get scared. She looks me dead in the eye. She goes, I paid $300 for that fucking hat. It isn't getting stepped on. And I started laughing so hard.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, you will be my customer forever. Like, that was it. Like, we just like literally died. So for Christmas, I bought her a big Woody doll. Like a Woody doll.
So cute.
And I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to be so mad at me.
What a good sport.
And she wasn't. She put it up like next to her Christmas tree on a bench. And she loves to be called Woody now. It was so funny.
That is so cute. Is she better now? Is she?
Yes. So like we're much better. But like I look back on the whole situation and it's just like, you know what? Just like, I can't take it that seriously, I guess.
Sometimes you gotta laugh it off.
Like when she looked me dead in the face, like, because I came at her hard for dropping those reins. And I know, like, most people that will listen to this will be like, that's so dangerous, da-da. And that's kind of like where I was coming from.
Yeah,
especially
like, with other horses.
Yes. I'm like, if your horse wouldn't have stopped and you would have dropped your reins, like, in this. And I mean, I guess it's like a shoulda, woulda, coulda. It didn't happen. Thank God. Thank God she dropped the reins and the horse just stopped.
Yeah.
But it was so friggin' funny. And when she came back at me, I've never had a customer just like muster up. I mean, she
not
just
even
went through,
hesitation.
No, she just went through like a traumatizing experience, and she just looked at me and she was like, "Bitch, I paid $300 for that hat.
I'm not dropping my hat.
I'm not letting no one step on it." That was her biggest concern, was that somebody was going to step on this hat. And I was like, right in that moment, I'm like, oh my God. You are my favorite customer I've ever had. Because I'm like somebody that just like met me. Like, and she's a great customer because you can give her the constructive criticism. You know, I'm
She'll
like, I don't want to
it.
make her sound like you can't give her constructive criticism. You can. But she like justified her actions that day. And I was just like, oh my God. Because that's something I would do.
You're like, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, fair enough.
That.
I get it. $300 on a hat? Yeah, I wouldn't want it stepped on either. Okay. And it was just so funny. And I'm like, you know what? No one got her. Horse just hit the brakes. Still to this day, I don't know why this horse was blowing around there, because she's never done it since.
Just
so,
excited,
like,
maybe.
I don't know. It was her first lope class, and she wanted to make a show. And, like, she certainly did. And I just, like, it was my first moment as a trainer. I was just embarrassed by, like, what went on in the ring. Because I always, well, you know, I always tell my students, like, you cannot embarrass me because I've embarrassed myself so many times. Like, so no one can embarrass me. I think that was, like, the first student that ever did something that was like, oh, my God, I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, my God. Tell that story. What was the one when you were going, the jumping one?
Oh my God. So
show.
Gala. So, okay. So I mentioned them earlier. So Ian was here for this. So Amy and Abby actually had Gala. So the two people I was talking about, they are like my longest customers ever, pretty much. And I adore them. Abby calls me mom because I've been her instructor since she was like 5. So they had this mare, Gala, and they're like, take her in the jump class, in the jump class for us, please. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a hunter jumper. I don't pretend to be a hunter jumper, but I can get my butt around a course if I have to, right? It was like 2 feet. I'm like, I'll be fine. They just wanted her to go out. I'll be good. So I get ready.
Doable.
Yeah, I'm like, it's doable. Like, I've jumped. I'm not saying like I haven't jumped before. Like, am I like a stadium jumper? No. Am I like a 3-day eventer? No. But like, I can handle like 6 jumps of like a 2-foot like jump course. Like, will be good. I'm
Easy
like
enough.
an old quarter horse nonetheless. She was an old quarter horse. Well, no one friggin' tells me that the thing jumps like 5 feet no matter what the damn thing was. So I take her out there and I'm like, okay, I'm, going to warm up. Like, we're going to warm up. She launches herself over this jump. Ian's standing on like the opposite side. His eyes are like so wide. This thing took like a 2-foot jump and jumped like 8 feet in the air. And I'm like, here I go. This is like where I die. I came down so hard on my hoo-hoo, like literally broke my pelvic bone, flopped around, and off she goes, and the horse jumps the rest of the damn course with just me hanging on, like literally flopping
You're
around.
just trying to survive.
Just like, and I'm like, give me a break. And like, I was trying to like get myself together. And by the time I'd even be halfway there, the next jump would be there. She'd be gone. And I come out of the class and I'm like, why the frig didn't you tell me that she jumps 5 feet over like a 2-foot, like she like launches. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me this? She goes, well, then you wouldn't have took her in the class.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, son of a bitch, like what the hell? So that was my jumping experience. The last time I ever jumped in a ring. I mean,
Really?
we've done the time trails, which, we have jumps, like kind of like a cross country course in a way. Nothing like crazy. But that was literally the last time I showed a jump class in the ring. Because I used to show my little mare. I had like a little quarter horse mare when I was young. I used to take her around the jump classes at the fair all the time.
Well, I know I've asked you before if you could train me to jump, and you've always seemed kind of hesitant.
I'm like, okay, with the Morgans, we can do a hack class, which is like 2 or 3 jumps right in a row. That I feel confident. Am I going to tell you
that seems more terrifying than like a course to me.
Oh my God, no. Have you ever ridden a course?
Does it look like I've ridden
no,
a course?
no, but I'm
You
just
think
saying.
I've ridden
I
a
don't know.
course, Dana?
Like, no, like there's lead changes in there, there's spacing, there's like all sorts of stuff. Like I can get you over 2 or 3.
I want to learn lead changes. That's like,
yeah, that I can do.
That's something I've always wanted to learn.
Yeah,
Is that weird?
No, that's good. I like my students that are like, I want to learn this and I want to learn that, because after a while we're doing our lessons and I'm like, okay, people, like, you want me to come up with the games? Like, let's get this figured out. So I actually, in our lesson, so for anybody, if you're a trainer and you're listening, I have found this like really cute game, right? Were you here Saturday? Did you see it? No, you didn't.
I was here Saturday.
Not for the lesson part, though.
No, you must have did them earlier, I
Yeah.
think.
So it's like a game with cones, and it's like the funnest thing I ever did with my kids ever. So if you have like 5 little kids, or like little kids 5 and up, right? And I stole this from someone on Facebook. I don't remember who it was, but whoever that did this trainer wise, thank you, because this entertained the heck out of my kids. So I made them go around with no stirrups, right? And hold their equitation. And they had to pluck cones off different
That's a torture
parts.
class.
Right?
That is not a fun class.
They had to pluck cones off different parts of the arena and put them different spots. And like
Oh my
each
gosh.
cone had a different thing to do. So some of them were 2 points. So if they picked up a cone and it had like real small written like 2 point, right? They'd have to like look at it and they'd have to do a 2 point till they got to the next point.
With
to put
no
the cone down.
stirrups?
Yes.
You were having 5-year-olds do this?
Well, like they were like I'm trying to think of their ages, like 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Oh my gosh.
Not 5-year-olds.
I don't even think I could do that.
Right. Well, hey, maybe we'll be playing the cone game.
Stop.
You gave me an idea. But yeah, so I was like, this is really cute. This is a cool game. And like some of them were like post with no stirrups to the next part. Some of them were like halt and reverse and then go to like the next. There's like little checkpoints, right?
Oh, it's cute.
And I thought this is like a really cute game, and it kept them entertained for like an hour. Like our whole lesson was this, and I really liked it.
Yeah, because
And
I feel with kids, like you can't be like, like with me or like, move your seat to the left, move your seat to the right. With kids, I mean, you can't with them.
No,
really.
except so the whole world's gonna be like, oh, disgusted, right? But I use funny words, so I'll like make them giggle. Like I'll be like, squish your butt cheeks.
That's
Do
how it
this
should
with your
be.
butt cheeks.
Yes, it's like hold a quarter in
Yes,
between your two butt cheeks.
Yes, like stuff like that. Like what's your right butt cheek? And they'll like shake. I tell them shake it, and they'll like do it.
That's
They're so
cute.
cute. Like my
Oh my
lesson
God.
kids are just friggin' adorable. Like I think I have the cutest ones.
That's so cute.
But yeah, I mean, it keeps them entertained. It keeps them busy. So they still learn like good principles, like.
But
of
they're
riding.
learning like while having fun.
Yeah, and I
which
feel
is
like that's the
important.
most important part because, like, especially my kids that are like 6 and 7, they are like, after a half hour, they're like, okay, can we be done? Like, I'm done with this. They're like looking around and they're like, we love the horses, but we're just happy like giving them carrots at this point. Our legs
we're
are
good.
sore. So I was really happy. And then another game we developed, which I didn't steal this from anybody. Actually, one of my students was like, I want to try this. So I don't know where she got it from. But she's 9, and she's like, I'm going to take my feet out of the stirrups and drop my reins, and I'm going to steer my horse around like an obstacle course with just my legs.
Oh,
so I'm like,
okay.
that's pretty cool. Like, I'm like, I looked at her, I'm like, you're one-upping me here in the instruction
And
part.
she did it.
She's done it. Every lesson, that's how we cool off our horses.
Wow.
Every lesson, she drops the reins and she steers her horse around with just her legs. It's called her game. It's called the Sammy game.
That is actually really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Weird question. Have you, because I've thought about this, have you ever done lessons bareback? Or like, how do you feel about bareback riding?
So I let my kids hop on bareback. So, I mean, we are a show barn, but like my kids, I try to do a lot of the stuff that I did growing up.
Because I feel like bareback is how you actually develop like your perfect seat, right?
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of lunge line lessons too. So, like, I put
Okay.
you on the lunge line, make you drop your stirrups, keep your arms out to the side, put them up over your head, touch, lean, 2-point post with no stirrups. November, we ride all no stirrups, so it's like no stirrup November, which is kind of like corny, but it works because all the
terrible.
kids love it. No stirrup November, and so I mean, there's like different ways to perfect your seat, but I like my kids to just go out there and just feel like kids. Because, like,
Yeah.
I remember I had my horses. I had that little pony, that little terrace, and I
had a terrace pony too.
yeah, and I would do all sorts of crazy crap to her. I mean, my mare, my quarter horse mare, I look back on it, I'm like, you're a saint. I used to literally take a double-ended snap, right, like a clip, and I used to clip one side to her lead line and the other side to my belt loop, and when I did chores around here, she was coming. Like, we were
Oh my
dumping
God.
wheelbarrows, like, all day long. Like, you're talking hours. I used to mow the lawn. This is so dangerous, right? So, Grandma, where were you? But now I look back at this, I'm like, no. But I used to literally hold the lead line and mow the lawn with her.
Could
And-
you imagine if you were like buckled to the horse and she just took off and then you just see Dana?
There
like, on
Dana
the
goes.
back of the
She's
horse?
getting dragged again, right? Now, if this was Iceman, he
You'd
would have
be
killed
dead.
me. I'd
You'd
be
be
dead.
dead.
But thank God, my Clancy, my saint, right? She was just like, okay, kid. And I swear to God, I used to come up every weekend.
She's babysitting.
Yeah. And she was a babysitter. And I swear to God, every single weekend, she would probably be like, here we go again.
I gotta
Here's
babysit this
awful
damn kid."
This horrible kid. I remember I used to go out in the field and it was like real tall grass. And I'm sure if you have lesson kids, let them do this, okay? Trainers, instructors. If you have kids, let them do this. If you're an adult, let them do this. Like, just let people live. I used to go out and get the real tall grass, right? And I used to take scissors because this is like how weird. This is how weird I was.
I'm getting like a really weird image in my head.
This is how weird I was, okay? I used to take scissors and I would make her a salad. My horse, right? I'm
Oh
gonna
my
make you do. I'm gonna make
God.
you do this, Jen. I'm
Stop.
gonna
I am not making a horse
Listen.
salad.
Oh my God, I have almost tears in my eyes because this is like how weird I was. But I'm gonna make you do this because you will never feel as good about yourself as you do when this horse eats this friggin' salad.
Stop.
I swear to God.
I'll just buy a salad and just
No,
bring it.
no, you have to make it. So I would cut the grass, right? And this is like 10-year-old me, like loser me. I would cut the grass and then I would go and get horse cookies and they were the croutons. So like you're gonna laugh so
Stop.
hard. I swear to God. I swear to God.
That is
Then
so
I would
hilarious.
cut up carrots and apples and I would put it all in there. And then she used to get oil like for her hoofs, like a supplement.
Don't tell me you put the oil
Yes,
on
for
the
the
salad. It's
dressing. For the dressing. And she loved it.
Oh my
she loved
God,
it. Okay.
Dana.
And then I put grain in there. It was like a whole thing. Okay.
That is
but
like next level. Like
it was so funny. But we did this at horse camp, right? We did this at horse camp. I had all the kids go and make the horses a salad.
that's kind of cute.
They loved it, right? This was like the coolest thing. You should have seen the ideas that these kids came up with for a salad. It was the funnest thing I've ever done in my whole life. So for all of you out there who think I'm creepy, okay, that weird little kid came back and my kids love it. Okay, they love to make their horse a salad, and I'm gonna make Jen do
I
it.
mean, it's cute as a kid, but like as a 24-year-old woman,
You'll enjoy it. I
no, Dana.
swear. Listen,
It's
I
not
was
normal.
30 70-year-old woman, and I enjoyed watching my kids make
Still
the
out
horses
there
a
making
salad.
salads just every day.
For all 30 lesson horses. Maybe that'll be my slogan. If you send your horse to training here, I'll make them a friggin' salad every day.
Salads every day, handmade.
Handmade salad. It was enjoyable. And some horses like bananas. The kids had bananas. It was like a good ass time.
That's
okay?
actually really cute for kids. Maybe not like us, Dana, but
I'm telling
for
you,
the kids.
you will feel joy deep down when you watch your horse eat your salad. I'm proud.
It's okay.
All right, people have dirty minds.
PG,
That's not what I mean.
PG-13.
Right?
PG-13.
People have dirty minds. That's not what I mean. But,
oh my god.
But it was wonderful. Okay, world. You can make fun of me all you want, but it was wonderful. Okay, this podcast is taking a turn for the worst. What are we on minutes here?
Hour and 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think we're good.
We can wrap it up today.
This
all right.
is
It was a
funny.
much better episode. See, because
This is
I'm not
fun.
worried about lying to you.
I know.
Yeah.
See,
so
now I know you're never going to lie to me because I'll find out.
I can't.
I'll find you.
It's not just you either. It's like anybody. Stare at me long enough and I'm going to spill the beans.
Like-
I'm not a good torture candidate. It's not going to happen.
I'm not down for torture. I'd just be like, everything you need to know. I'm just telling you. I'm not here for it. Don't rip off
Right?
a fingernail.
Right. Leave my toes. I just got them done.
I just got
All right. So we will see everybody next week. So episodes drop on Mondays.
Okay.
So this will be out tomorrow. I don't think he has much editing to do. Once
Besides the
again,
cat.
just names. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
cat. So, yeah, it'll be out Monday. And I'm so thankful to everybody that has listened. We really appreciate it because we're just two weirdos that love bumblebees, had our bras ripped off, and had embarrassing experiences sitting in a tack room talking about it. And we hope everybody listens to the second episode. And we will see you guys all next Monday.
Yep.
Wait, maybe not because it's Easter Sunday. Well,
It's
maybe we'll
early.
have to get one in a little early.
Yeah,
and we'll
we'll figure
release
it
it
out.
on Monday. All right. Thank you everyone so much. We appreciate it and hope you like our episode. Bye.
Bye.